This is a recording from Ragnarok Transcendence. This is a official server from iRO. The server is no longer running, but basically this is the first server first and potentially world first of Okolnir with 9970 classes in zero mechanics. Ragnarok Zero is basically goes to level 120 in the Korean server, but on iRO the classes never reached that level. They only got the 9970 patch. So this could be the only server that had this exact mechanic. And because monsters in renewal go up to levels like 150 and plus, this is actually quite hard content. So this was the first time server first on Transcendence, and this is going to be a run through of the actual instance. Now Okolnir is the God Item 2 creation quest and needs 16 people minimum to go, and there are up to 20 that can join. So as I mentioned, there are monsters in this dungeon that are very high level compared to our level. So what that means is they can give you statuses, they can give you a lot of things that you need really good gear for. Luckily, we have very good gear at this point, including god items. So doing damage to these monsters wasn't really an issue, but surviving them definitely took a lot of coordination. So right now you see the setup for the Okolnir instance. I'm about to start it, and it will broadcast to the server what will be happening. So once you open Okolnir, you have 1 hour to finish the instance. Because time is of the essence, it's really important to have everyone on the same page and do this together. So as you can see, what happens is right when you begin, there are some Bio 2 monsters that spawn. One spawns for every person who has joined. And what we do is basically maintain the monster with my name on it. So my champ's name is Monka S, and what that means is basically do not kill the last monster, because we want to get everybody set up. Everyone spawns in a maze here randomly. So as you can see, there are flowers that exist in the in here, which are walls that basically change every couple of minutes. So the walls change every couple of minutes, and what that means is some parts of the maze are just inaccessible to the rest of people. So right now what's happening is basically the rest of my guildmates are kind of waiting to get access to the middle of the map. Some of them are stuck outside the maze. So basically I'm just sitting here tanking this last Bio 2 monster, because what happens is once all the Bio 2 monsters are dead, then Bio 3 mini bosses will spawn. And in renewal, those mini bosses have hundreds of thousands of life and are level 150 plus. So they do a ton of damage. A single person cannot kill a Bio 3 mini boss with the gear that we have. So we need a full group effort to kill any of these. So basically we're waiting right now to get access for everyone to get access to the middle, and then we'll start the actual killing of the Bio 3 mobs. So you'll see that the flowers will change every couple of minutes, and that makes it so that certain areas of this maze are accessible and some are not. So you can see the flower change happening right now. And finally, some people will be able to get access to the middle where we're all meeting up. The problem here is that a lot of these wall changes are very position buggy on the official server, so it's actually not possible to walk through them without having another person there. You can shift click on another person to kind of pass through the invisible wall that's left by the position bug. So there's no at refresh like in private servers, so basically getting access to walking is like annoying. So you can see people walking through to help each other move around, but effectively just moving is a pain in this instance. So it looks like we're getting ready to set up. I'm the mental strength tank here, so I get ready. Once we kill the first, or rather the final Bio 2 mini boss, or monster, a Bio 3 Lord Knight will spawn every time in the middle. So we are ready for that to happen. And then the other ones that spawn are random, so that's why the rest of the group is getting ready, because we don't know what's going to spawn besides that. So here we got the Lord Knight, so we're just going to spam DPS on it. Acid Bomb is the main DPS for all bosses in this instance besides the Wizard. So the Wizard is Ghost, so the Wizard cannot take damage from Acid Bomb. This is Renewal, by the way, so, or Zero mechanics, which are based on Renewal, so Acid Bomb's damage is quite significant. We have Megs and other GG gear, so the damage you can see is quite high for any individual boss. But for the Wizards, we need to use Soul Destroyer to kill them. So basically, we're trying to navigate this maze to see which monsters exist that we can kill easily. So we have a priest here, kind of just nuking it down, and then there's a wizard nearby. So trying to position the wizard to come back to the group where we're set up here, where we can tank it without having too many issues. In Renewal, mental strength reduces damage by 90%, so it's a really good way to tank damage, obviously, with like maximum reductions, but still the damage that they do is like really high. So if you're not in mental strength, you will instantly die to any spell. Just so happen to grab a Synex here too. So in total there are 3 of each of these monsters in the zone. So 3 wizards, 3 Synexes, 3 Lord Knights, and so on. So we're doing SD on this wizard. The damage is really good, 180,000 per hit. That's pretty significant damage, but they have millions of life, so it just takes quite a long time. And magic strings and other buffs don't work the same way as they do in pre-renewal, so you don't have spam, which is so fast like in other servers. So you can't really reduce the aftercast delay as easily as you can in other servers. So yeah, it just takes quite a while to kill them. So this is what we're doing right now. These wizards basically are the thing that will wipe any group in this maze. They're really the most dangerous, because if you die and you come back, you get warped in randomly, so there's no guarantee that you'll even get near to your group. So having that kind of slow approach to just kind of kill one thing one step at a time, take it easy. Even right here, this pull is pretty messy, but we happen to have a second champ there that can tank. So what we figured out over time was that having multiple mental strength champs was better, because if people get blocked off from walls, which you'll probably see later on in this clip, there's someone else that can, you can get kills done when people are separated, because like I said, the timer is something that we're keeping track of internally, but it's sometimes just not possible to move in a way which is conducive to the whole group getting through, especially because it's buggy, like I mentioned before. So it seems like we're walking through here fine though. Got a sniper, so should be pretty straightforward just to bomb her and kill her. But line of sight here is kind of wonky, or on these corners and in these walls, so it's definitely a game of good positioning to grab their aggro and so on. So that sniper's down. As you can see, those flowers are actual walls, that Master Smith couldn't walk through, so he couldn't, can't see. But the problem with the Master Smith is that Master Smiths can AoE stun, and their level difference will stun anyone who isn't immune to stun. So you need to have literally Orc Hero card or stun immunity with like you can see literally everyone is stunning right now. You need to have immunity to stun, which you can do in the current episode, which did not have the Satan Warrock's gear. The only way to do this was with the Valk Armor and Flame Skull and Stalactite Golem combo. And I don't remember if that was actually even available at the time of this kill, so it might not even have been available. So you can see it's just a massive stun fest. It was available later on in the server when we did this run, but this is the first one, and I don't believe it was Nameless Island was open yet. So yeah, Smiths are just super rippy. Like all people are stunned like on screen, and if you happen to, not have FCP or get stunned, or MS is about to go down, like you can see me constantly checking the cast or the time for my mental strength. Like it's just a complete pain. Even the champ here is trying to get fist off, but it's not really easy because everyone's permist. So very frustrating. And there's a wall there, so you can see that like half the group was actually blocked off. So luckily, it wasn't a wipe situation, but like half the people were blocked there from even doing damage. So luckily the chem could hit, and the champ was trying to get hits off. So the biggest thing about doing this maze is just trying to, weather the walls changing, because certain access to certain parts of the map are different based on what flower arrangement exists. And so there's a good diagram that was created that we used internally to keep track of who had where you could go between each location. So having to like decide where you were going is a big part of this run. It actually takes a lot of foresight to know kind of where everything is. So as you can see, again, the second champ is pulling a Smith. So kind of frustrating because not only is that happening, but there's a sniper there too. So we can't really damage that sniper while everyone's being stunned. But damage is still going off, so we're killing them slowly. A lot of those Bio 3 MVP or Bio 3 mini bosses explode when they die, so that's another thing to kind of be aware of, is that dying to the explosion is not really a good idea. Got to be careful of it. But anyway, we're nuking down the sniper. Like I said, they have millions of life, so at this point just lexing and acid bombing them is the best way to do damage. But yeah, this run so far is going pretty smoothly. We're killing the bosses without wiping mostly. So the most important thing really is just that the metal strength tank has FCP at all times, has SAC at all times, like devotion, and that people don't get too aggressive on the wizard. So here we can see that the flower change is probably coming up soon, and that wizard right there, we want to prepare ahead of time. So the whole group has magnetic earth down. Oh, but I got Gamantine, so as you can see, it's pretty pretty rippy. So getting ME down is like really important, obviously, to make sure that the rest of the group doesn't take damage. But she spams Gamantine, so casting ME repeatedly is really quite important to this phase, which you can see is a lot slower than the acid bomb phase, since SD Synex can only do so much damage per hit before it it has a long delay. So basically, yeah, that's what's going on. Looks like there's some other shit inside the group too, which is being annoying as well. So you can see just how frustrating this is. Luckily, my actually that's pretty unfortunate. The MS went down just as she started waterballing me. So yeah, even with nearly all +10 gear, I cannot I cannot out heal the damage of this wizard. So luckily there's some priests that have Redemptio and they're spamming it, trying to get trying to get everybody up who are technically safe. But finally I got the MS cast off, and I can tank it now. Sorry for the background noise. But anyway, with MS up, I can outpot her damage, but it is significant. I mean, this is with 90% reduced damage with all best in slot gear at +9 or 10. Like, this is shit tons of damage, as you can see. So yeah, it's definitely not plausible for any other class to tank one of these monsters. So we just have to wait for the flower change to go through before we can get everybody up, everybody res to like kill this. But yeah, it's definitely not not easy to kill them, especially when the wizard is like ghost element, so you can't really do anything else. But we're getting the party resed up. One of the nice things about this is that there's a mail system in this game, so having access to like more potions and stuff like that was just something that you could always mail for. So there was never really like a super dire need to have all the items on you at once. Like you could mail it and get access to like more stuff if necessary. So right now I'm basically just potting out this damage myself because the pally can't get close to me to sack me. So yeah, basically just waiting. But you can see that the mental strength timer is ticking down quickly. So I'm gonna definitely die here if it doesn't, if the flower change doesn't happen in a way which we have access to, and it looks like it's not going to be able to do it within a few seconds remaining. So I'm just going to spam MS and hope it goes off, but as you can see, it's not happening. So luckily here I am able to get the cast off while she's spamming Gambentine and not other spells. So in this case I can actually tank it, and it looks like our SD Synex is in position, but as you can see without MS the damage is untankable. So it's a little scuffed right now, but at least damage can start to be done again. The way that songs work in Zero is that they are AoE songs, like casted on the screen, not on the traditional like 5x5. So what that means is like people around walls can still buff you. So like if someone is not like near you, it doesn't really matter. As long as they can see you, they can give you some songs. So that part is good. But basically, the Synex has to like run in and out and weave these SD casts while not getting close to SD or Storm Gust, sorry, SG. So basically, yeah, just trying to Lex SD and kill this thing. It's basically the most annoying part of this whole fight. So even at max range, like, yeah, you just have to keep going at it. It's pretty frustrating. But anyway, you can see her health is pretty low. She is basically gonna die within a few more casts. So this part is really the worst part of the fight. Is the wizard is so tanky and so hard to kill, and this section of the whole instance is the worst. The maze is by far the worst part. And you can see the explosion even killed me, but I think my MS ran out just then. So anyway, Synex is here too. So, you know, as you can see, like, all of the, you know, walls are just really annoying. Frankly speaking, like, getting everybody to the point where they can actually, you know, help and do damage and be, like, in a good position is actually just not guaranteed in this case. We're getting some DPS with the Synex right now, but the Synex does much less damage to, you know, another Synex as like Acid Bomb would. So unfortunately, the other classes are just stuck and can't kill right now. But what they might be doing is killing off screen. So like what I don't see right now and what you guys can't see is like we have another champ and another, you know, group of people who are killing right now. So off the like off to the, you know, on other parts of the map, like there's kills probably happening that we don't see. So that's the strat that we figured out eventually, was that having 2 MS tanks was going to be ideal to be able to like not get split up and be like worthless as far as the time is concerned, because actually time is really important, you know, in this instance. So anyway, kind of just have to wait for the flower change to be in our favor in order to get this damage done. As I mentioned before, like the difference in level between monsters is significant. So, you know, he stuns me on almost every single Sonic Blow cast. Like I can't really do anything about that. And I don't have immunity to stun, obviously. Even with 100 Vit, like it doesn't make you immune if you're damaged or if your level is so different. So anyway, yeah, just gotta wait for the flower change to finish before we can kill him. What's frustrating about this stun is that, you know, you can't pot during it, so every hit, like, you know, it has to be potted up to full, so it's like a huge waste of supplies here to be able to make it, you know, happen. But anyway, after MS went down, so you can see, like, even, you know, with the gear that I had, which was significant, like, tanking these monsters is just not possible. You know, 30k to a fully geared Lord Knight, it's pretty hard. So here's what I was talking about earlier. You can just mail stuff, so I grabbed a stack of pots out of mail. So I'm sure that we have like a internal timer as to how close the how close it is to respawning, or rather moving the flowers. Basically, there's no point in redsing me now because, oh, here we go. So now the flowers change. Everybody can start supporting the chem to bomb. I mean, Lex bomb does 200 damage, so yeah, it's quite a lot of DPS, and now that that's done, we can move back to try and find the rest of the group who's outside killing other stuff, as I mentioned before. Once all the minis are killed, then the flowers disappear, so you can just run through the maze and get to the exit to go on to the second phase. So there's 3 phases total to this instance. So this is the first one, and this is by far the most difficult part. So a lot of people's runs just ended here directly because killing these mini bosses is quite hard. So yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of waiting around because the flower change happens every couple of minutes, so if you're stuck, then you're stuck and you can't really do much. So getting to that point is rough. So here I'm asking for FCP because I need to, if my armor breaks from the Master Smith, which is up ahead, then that's gonna be a big problem. So getting set up, waiting for the flower change, and you can see the start of the second phase above, like these monsters that exist. I'll explain it more in detail, but you can see that there's other monsters that are up there. So you have to kill those as time permits. So anyway, it looks like we got a sniper here. We're gonna try and pull and kill. Snipers are pretty easy, obviously. You can just kill them with Numa, or tank them with Numa rather. So it looks like we met up with a couple of our other friends who are stuck or killing in other parts, and now we can just start nuking with acid bomb. So it looks like on the other side, the other group had been killing a wizard, so now we're meeting up, having this Champ's MS went down. Luckily I was there to take over. Looks like she's almost dead anyway, so yeah, you can see when you sense there, if you want to pause the video, you can see that the like level of the wizard is 160, so definitely really annoying. The good thing about these things is that there's Redemptio, so Redemptio can, res through can res over walls, right? Here's another Master Smith, which is so frustrating to deal with, perma-stunning everything. And these flowers also like change in a way which is frustrating, so like getting stuck in between them is like really, really annoying. So you can see how like people are blocked off from different edges. So even killing them is like not particularly fast when your whole thing is blocked off. But now you can see that all of them have gone and the next phase is open. So thank God we're done with the maze. So that took about 30 minutes. So there's only 60 minutes for the thing, so half the time in the first zone might make you feel like, oh gosh, this is going to be pretty bad, but actually it's not that bad. The rest are pretty fast. So the way that this part works is there's these 2 different types of monsters. These ones, basically they drop this key, and the key basically is needed by all members of the party. So everyone needs to drop them, but the thing is plant type, so it only takes 1 damage. So it's not so fast to kill them. But there are these other angels that that spawn as well, and so you gotta like kill the angels with acid bomb or some other spell, and kill these garden keepers, which have plant life. So everyone gets a key before they can move on to the next room. So this part's kind of annoying because those garden watchers are pretty strong and kind of rippy. So You can't go. I mean, they're not so bad that like they're impossible to kill or anything. Obviously, our gear is insane, but you know, you definitely don't want to like take them on by yourself. So killing these as well as you know, killing these garden watchers, which are only taking 1 damage, as you can see, it's kind of annoying. The other negative part about this whole thing is that the garden keeper key like can't be traded, so it's like soul bound. So that means that you can't like you can accidentally pick 2 up, and that's just like wasting time on your party. So not being able to you know, pick it up, everyone's spam clicking, and then accidentally one person picks up 2 is just like a waste on your on your party's time. So as you can see, everyone's trying to rush and grab it. It's pretty common to actually pick up a second one on accident. So the funny thing is that the minstrel is like the best killer of these. Because they can use the berserk guitar. So minstrel shines here at killing the keepers. So yeah, we're just whacking away, getting to this point. So this point unlocks another MVP, which is specific only to Okolnir, which is called Piamet. So that's a pretty interesting room, which I'll explain more when we get there. But basically, this part is just walking through, trying to make sure that everyone gets their key. It's pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot to say. But the thing is, the more people that you bring into this thing, the like more possibilities it is that you have to backtrack. So having to like backtrack and get ones that respawn wastes a lot of your time. So if you don't have there you can see the timer. There's only 30 minutes left in the instance. But yeah, once you know, everybody has killed the initial set of them, and now everybody has a key, you actually have to backtrack to go to where they respawn, which is like farther back in the instance. So you like kind of waste time backtracking to get to that point. So here it looks like we're able to get to the next area. Hopefully everybody has a key at this point. But unfortunately they don't, so we gotta go back and look for more. Look for more to kill. So yeah, you really don't want to go into the next room without everybody having a key. It's really bad, because I don't think you can really kill her without like a really, you know, stacked party. So making sure everyone has a key. And it seems like pretty much everybody who was missing one is getting their last one. So now to Piamet. This is a really interesting and never really replicated boss fight in iRO as far as I know. So basically what happens is she has this she has multiple phases, and one of the phases is that a ton of monsters spawn, first of all, and you don't really want to kill a lot of them, because what they do is they start to respawn more ads. So like being cognizant of like what you're killing is like really important here. So you can see PMS set up in the middle, and there's these little cages on the outside. Those cages basically, you need to be captured in there for her to be unlocked. So there's these little like cast circles that you can see on the floor from time to time. If you get caught in that cast circle, you get captured. And once enough people get captured, I think it's six or then you you can start fighting her. It's actually kind of annoying because it's hard to see him. They kind of always spawn in the same spot, so you can kind of just stand around and wait for them to come up again. But like they yeah, they're not really that easy to see. So we're just kind of waiting around for people to get captured. Once you get captured, then barricades spawn, similar to the WO2 barricades. And that is... oh, here we go. So now we've got the point where everyone's captured, and we can start taking down the Cades. So each person, you know, who can do damage is doing so. In renewal, GFIS has a 3-second like delay where you cannot get SP at all, so that's why I have to wait in between recharging. You can see on the right side that they don't, you can't get SP immediately. So it looks like most of the Cades are almost dead, and I'm going to get in position to tank it. PMED herself is not really that not really that annoying. It's just she spams Hell's Judgment, and in Transcendence, Hell's Judgment is blocked by Numa. Sorry, is blocked by Safety Wall, not Numa. So that's why everyone's standing in Safety Wall. Her yeah, her Hell's Judgment is basically the only thing that really is frustrating. But not only that, she has the potential to duplicate herself. And so when that happens, basically the scholars need to spam Spellbreaker on her constantly. You can see the scholars using Spellbreaker, because if she spawns copies of herself, it's really frustrating to kill her. So that phase went pretty smoothly, not too hard, but definitely there's a potential to get really bad results, because the capturing can take a while, and then that gets reset, or she kills everybody with Hell's Judgment, or she spawns a copy of herself, and it's frustrating. So basically, this next part is killing a bunch of Skogels and Frosts. Like hundreds or thousands of them appear, and so our strategy in this section of the fight is to use Lord Knight to kill them. Brandish Spear in Transcendence is basically the most meta DPS for most PvE. Like monsters that aren't like super high level, it hits like a really high AoE. It's a lot of damage. So we would transfer the Megs to the Lord Knights so they can do big damage. Also, the Wizard, surprisingly enough, does a lot of damage here too. Gravfield is one of the best AoE spells. It's just it can't be spammed in the same way. So the irony here is that being cursed makes that you can walk faster. So when you're in MS, actually being cursed makes you able to walk fast, which is kind of funny. So I'm meeting up with the rest of the group. We're trading up the items, making sure that the Lord Knights get the best gear, and we move on to the next section. So the Wish Maiden is like the final boss, and that's the one who's talking in the dialogue here. So basically, by walking over certain parts of certain areas, like tons of Frost and Skogel spawn, like hundreds. So this is kind of just a matter of just nuking everything on screen. It's not a whole lot of crazy strategy or tanking needed. Just run in and just start killing. Just the pure number of them gets pretty wild. So you can just see a bunch of spam, Stormgust, or Brandish Spear, or Gravfield. So on, not too wild, just a lot of monsters here. So you have to go basically to a bunch of different trigger areas to make sure that all of them get spawned. And once they all do, then the final area will open to fight Witch Maiden, who is the final boss. One thing that we didn't really know a whole lot about this part was that like this area is timed, so there's a lot of cases where like we were like, is it working correctly? Is it bugged? We kind of weren't sure as we were learning how it worked. So yeah, getting to this point was definitely, there's a learning curve to it for sure. Make sure that we knew like if all the monsters were dead or if all the spawns were taken care of. So this is the final area where you fight Witch Maiden, but actually what we're actually learning is that all the spawns might not have been killed yet, so we're just kind of running around trying to make sure that all these seals have been deactivated, which you can kind of see on the floor. Unfortunately, I don't have the audio of the voice chat wasn't recorded when I took this video, so unfortunately you can't hear the comms. I think the internal communication would have been interesting to hear. That's why I'm doing this commentary over it, just to make sure that there's some explanation as to what's going on. So now we get the chat that Okolnir is disappearing in 20 minutes, and then the respawn happens. So that's when we started to realize that, okay, these are timed spawns. We just happen to be going pretty fast, and killing them is just a matter of like, you know, the time being right. Luckily, you know, going fast is a good thing. In most cases, like you want to be able to, you know, do this as fast as possible, but actually you're just gated by the script at that point to execute the spawning of them in time. So double checking to make sure that everything is killed. Also, as you can imagine, having not, you know, done this to the end, there is a lot of learning on the spot that had to be done. So part of this is just a matter of you know, being ready for whatever came up. This is another phase that we're basically waiting for. You know, as I mentioned before, having that time crunch is like one thing, but on the other hand, like the fact that we could kill them quickly was a good feeling. Making sure that, you know, you have the right like composition of characters. Like 16 to 20 people sounds like a lot, but actually there's, you know, pretty good ability to have the wrong group, like the wrong composition of people. So being able to actually, you know, maintain a roster of like all the people that can you know, do all these phases is kind of important. So having the Lord Knights, which are kind of less useful in the beginning stages. Like, they can't do anything in the Bio 3 phase, and they can only do a little bit in the Piamit phase, but they really shine in this phase for clearing, because Brandish Spear is the most meta damage in this version of the game. So you can see here they're just you know, plowing with Brandish and with Acid Bomb and so on. So now we're getting to the exciting, you know, near conclusion. These last keepers are going to be killed, and then the Wish Maiden will spawn. So Wish Maiden is basically Valkyranger's. The difference is that she's Ghost instead of Holy, and she doesn't cast Earthquake. So basically she's Ghost level 1, so Acid Bomb and G-Fist and all these things still do damage, still work. So what we're doing here is trying to bait her Dispel with the High Priest, and then dragging her on top of me to start damage. So once we basically gotten to the point where Dispel was already procced, then, you know, we could just start nuking her. And as you can see, her she's taking quite a lot of damage. On my end, like, I'm just basically spamming Zen. If she dispels me, then, you know, that's, you know, big problem. So as you can see, you know, getting dispelled and losing MS is like the biggest problem, but not too big of a deal. We were able to, you know, get to the point where we could set up again, get her back to a corner to tank her, and so on. So looks a little messy, but honestly, like, in the circumstances, we were pretty much ready for this to happen. Dispel Hap went off again, so, you know, not a whole lot that you can do as a tank there. That damage is unpotable without MS, so everyone's kind of nervous. You know, it's nearing the end. You can see her damage is so low, but we're basically had this pretty much under control. Just needs a few more hits before she's totally dead. And yeah, that's the end. Basically, at the end here is where you actually supply the items to the NPC to give the to create the item. In this case, it was a Bryn, which was the first one. So you can see it promoted to the server, that we brought a Bryn into the server. So this is a pretty exciting moment for us in general. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's unknown if this had ever been done on a 9970 level server. So by all means, it could have been a world first. It definitely was a server first. So the fact that this was done with this mechanics, in, you know, zero mechanics, as well as you know, in level 9970 rather than level 120, which is the way that it exists in the Korean server. Yeah, that's basically one of the reasons why we were so excited to do this. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. It's pretty old, actually. I published this a long time ago, but the method was secret because you know, it wasn't well known how to do this at the time, and the competitive guilds that we were going up against had no idea how to do it either. So this was like secret information, and I kind of forgot that this video existed until recently, so I wanted to put some commentary on it. I thought people might be curious to see what had you know, happened and how it worked, because this is pretty different content that doesn't really exist in most private servers. And even in the official server, I don't know of any video that has shown the whole run from at least these mechanics. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this type of content, let me know. I've been playing Ragnarok for a really long time, and I play a variety of servers. So thanks.